The San Diego Sheriff's Department is standing by its ruling that Rebecca Zahau committed suicide, even though a jury found her boyfriend's brother responsible for her death. Zahau was found hanging from the balcony of the Spreckels mansion in 2011. 7 years later, her family filed a $10 million civil suit claiming that her death was not a suicide.
And joining us now to talk about this is attorney Jan Ronis. Thanks so much for being with us.
My pleasure. Good evening.
So if we could start out, a lot of people shocked by this verdict. Let's explain the difference between preponderance of evidence and reasonable doubt.
Right. As you know, this is a civil case, and the Sheriff's Department looked at it from a criminal point of view, and one of the questions they asked themselves is, could we prove this individual guilty beyond a reasonable doubt? They concluded, it seems to me they concluded that no crime had been committed, not that they couldn't convict somebody, but that, in fact, that it wasn't a homicide. And so the family filed a civil suit, as is their right, and in the civil trial, they had a burden to at least convince 9 jurors by a preponderance of the evidence that the gentleman was responsible for her death. And of course, they got that. It's a pretty high standard, not the same as proof beyond a reasonable doubt, but nevertheless, they got 9 votes. So it's kind of a startling decision after all these months of uncertainty.
That's all it takes. Let me take you through a timeline with the Sheriff's Department. Shortly after the verdict is read, they sent out this statement that says, "We completed a comprehensive and professional investigation. We stand behind it." Then shortly after that, there's a tweet that comes out from Dave Myers, who's running for sheriff, responding to an article from 10 News. When we were asking if the Sheriff's Department would reopen this investigation, he says, "Correct, I will reopen the case when elected sheriff in June." Just a short while ago, we get another statement from the Sheriff's Department that says, "We are always open to reviewing any evidence that could impact our conclusions. We're also willing to meet with the Zahau family to look at any new evidence." Do you think the Sheriff's Department will reopen this investigation?
Well, it puts him in a tough position, because I think politics will really drive whatever decision they make. On the one hand, Mr. Myers obviously running for sheriff, and in an effort to maybe get public attention, he's going to make a statement like that. On the other hand, if the Sheriff's Department reopens this case, whatever decision they come to is going to be questioned by the public. I mean, because they have to second guess their own effort now, and they may end up looking really silly if for some reason they find that a crime was committed and then submit the matter to the district attorney's office for the consideration of the filing of charges. So it's a tough position for them to be in.
It is.
So now we're looking at the next phase of the trial, the punitive phase, but you were saying there may not be any damages awarded there.
Well, it appears from everything I've heard that the defendant in this civil suit does not have any money from which he could pay a verdict. And the decision of the jury was that he pay $5 million. Now, they have a right to proceed to the next stage, which would be the punitive aspect. And if he had assets, the jury can award additional damages. But if he doesn't have any money, and it appears as though he may not, I saw a report that the plaintiffs may not go any further in this. It may just drop that aspect of the case.
All right. Very interesting outcome. Jan, thank you for giving us some insight on this.
My pleasure. Thank you.
All right.